Well, we meet again, do we? Welcome to Lewis's Corner. So, I want to start by sharing a little quote with you. This is a quote by one of my favorite writers, actually, Charles Bukowski. Now, old Charlie boy, he had a quote, and I'm going to read it word for word here. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts, whilst the stupid ones are full of confidence. This rings absolutely true. The intelligent ones are much more likely to consider two, three, 10 steps ahead. They're also much more likely to consider other people's varying belief systems, intentions, desires. They're also more likely to realize that their perspective, their personal truth may not be aligned or true for others at any given moment or stage of their life. The intelligent person has a lot more things to consider. Whereas the stupid person, well, next step in front of the other. Now, ironically, this is the interesting thing. Ironically, many of these so called stupid people, they do very well for themselves. They have less skill than you, they're less intelligent than you, but they have this confidence, this self-inflated belief that I can do it. If I can see it, I can do it. And boom, 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 one step after the other. They don't really think about it too much. They just get on with it. They're much more pragmatic in that sense, less abstract, less, oh, what if this happens and that happens, less hesitant and more, boom, gun ho. So how do we, as the intelligent ones, reclaim our sense of confidence, reclaim our sense of ability to really push forward and press forward and make those big moves, make those big moves that this little analytical intellectual thinker struggles with, is terrified of? We need to get into that together. You see, all that anxiety, all that self doubt is a misuse of your intelligence. You have this supercomputer between your ears here. This supercomputer that can consider 10 steps ahead, can consider a path and a strategy and probably multiple strategies in one moment. But when we start doubting ourselves, this is a misuse of that technology. This is a misuse of that technology. Doubting ourselves to the point where we starve any momentum and enthusiasm from emerging. Your momentum in life is what carries you forward. If you've seen someone ride a bike for the first time, their rational mind would have it that if it feels a bit wobbly, it's better to slow down. And of course, the more they slow down, the more the bike's gone all over the place. They don't realize that if actually they just sped up a little bit, they would find the balance, they'd find the groove. And it's the speed that brings that center balance that prevents the wobbling like this. But when we're riddled with self doubt and anxiety and hesitation, even if we've caught a good tailwind there, that hesitation causes the wobbles. And if we buy into that too much, boom, we've fallen off. And before we know it, it's just another reason as to why I am not ready to do this. Anxiety is caused by an anticipatory negative outcome. We are anticipating a negative outcome that has not happened yet and truthfully may never happen. But we believe in it as if it could. And the moment we believe into it, becomes this rising reality inside of us. Whereas excitement is the anticipation of a positive, desirable outcome. So when we're anxious and self-doubting, we've chosen the wrong path for ourselves. We're not believing in the positive outcome. We're not even connected to what we truly want. We are actually focused completely on what we don't want. So that if we were an athlete and we're about to run the 100 meters, imagine preparing for that with the idea of what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I fail? Think of what that would do to someone's mentality, to their behavior, even to how they might train. Would they put in 110% effort? with a belief like that. No, they wouldn't. They'd get on that starting line before the gun's fired, and they've already lost. The hormones that are coursing through their blood in that moment is more influenced by fear and defeat, cortisol, heaviness, deflation. And so then they behave like a loser. And then, of course, they lose. And then in their mind, they're so clever. They've proved to themselves, oh, I knew I was going to fail. I knew I was going to fail. A self-fulfilling prophecy every single time. A self-fulfilling prophecy every single time. The question we need to ask ourselves is, how can we rewire our mind to focus on what we want? To focus on what we want. And this might even require some level of arrogance. It might even require some level of delusion or ignorance. Now, the intellectual skeptic would say, well, Lewis, it's better to live in a world of reality than it is fantasy. Wouldn't want to be like those foolish people that live in La La Land. Okay, my friend, you enjoy the rest of that long winter, which is your life, that long, depressed, frail winter, which is your life, whilst you deny the opportunity to have faith, the opportunity to have courage, the opportunity to risk it all, to actually step outside of your comfort zone, to put down all the marvelous books of other people who have lived their successful lives and start living your own. We must reclaim this courage and this faith. Faith exists within every single human being. Not every single human being is connected to it. Not every single human being values that. But how on earth are you going to win at life if you do not expect to win? If you do not expect to win? We need to consider this. To believe in ourselves, to hold the faith, to have the courage, to engage the vision of what we truly want and expect it. And expect it so that even when things don't go to plan and we take a knockback, it's going through the lens of perception, which says, story's not over yet. I haven't arrived yet. The game's not over. I'm still in the runnings. Instead of the other path, which is that realistic skeptic. Oh, well, studies have shown that, well, only 1% of a million people will ever really amount to anything in life. So statistically, the odds are against me. Why would I even bother? It's time to say goodbye to that. I'm absolutely fed up to the brim with that mindset, that realism, that realism. What realistic person ever changed the world? What realistic person ever created a change in this world? Absolutely not. It wasn't very realistic to consider that we could actually fly airplanes back in the day. It wasn't very realistic to think that we'd be able to watch movies on some kind of device like a television. Wasn't very realistic that we could consider speaking on the phone. We need to consider our vision, the vision that is not quite here yet, but if we can see it and we can believe it, why on earth can't we have it? The only thing preventing us is our own self-defeating narrative, our own weakness. And it is weakness. It is weakness, but all of this can be absolutely changed. Absolutely changed.